my name is Edgar Arceneaux, and I'm a 2021 C.O.L.A Visual Arts Fellow. My grandfather, who was a self-taught painter and an inventor, and as I grew up, people would tell me that I look like him, I walk like him, I talk like him, and when I decided I wanted to be an artist as well, it was somewhere around I think like the fourth or the fifth grade or something. My parents were very supportive of it, but they also wanted to make sure that I got a good like level arts education as well. So my mother really pushed me to go into psychology and into which then led me into studying philosophy and the sciences, and learn about literature and the history of economics and environmental sciences. But that formative experience of being a child, and then people telling you that you are like someone who is no longer physically here. I think in a way it's sort of like it started to open up my understanding of the world, and that the world is made up of not just visible things, but that there's these other forces that build reality. Partially because of I should say the lockdown, not because of COVID, but because of the quarantine, and a number of other sort of transitions. It gave me a lot of time to say, well, if you're going to do something differently, what would it be? Like if you could listen to that one little whisper in the back of your head, like maybe that's the place you can go to discover something new about yourself. And ideally there's a new avenue of possibilities for you to fall in love again with your work. So over the last year and a half, 2 years, I've just been, kind of secretly painting, tooling away, and, I probably made something like 30 paintings last year, probably more. And most of them aren't awesome, but, I just had to I had to rewire my brain around how to make work, which was that, with this way of working, I literally didn't even have the words to describe it to myself. So anyway, I had to form, I guess basically what I'm saying, I had to form a new vernacular, for myself, so that I could, I guess, fall in love with making again. So I'm always trying to think about that connection between ideas and like where they actually sit in materials, or let's say in the physical world, that cares very little about what human beings and how we use them. It's sort of like it's apathetic. But it's those sort of where those two things intersect, where there's like a feedback loop between them, where it says something about the physical world, and it also says something about us and like how intertwined we are. And there's sort of another story that my mother, who is was really, really beautiful. She just passed away a couple months ago, or a month and a half ago now. And she used to model, so my mom would always be doing her makeup and stuff in the morning. We were always fascinated by watching her do this. And when we moved to West Covina, her mirror that she had in her new bathroom was one of these 3-sided mirrors. So it was one in the front and one on each wall. And I just found it so fascinating to stand there and then look in there and then see my reflection like echoed, in one direction, and you look in the other. And I started, at the time when I was, especially in my teenage years, and I was so, sort of skinny and, nervous and anxious, I was like, what if there's like a better version of myself in one of those variations? Like, what was life like in some of those other dimensions? Were they actual dimensions at all? And as I got older, and started making art and found myself coming back to mirrors again. I was like, well, maybe there's a way that I can actually just take the mirror apart. Like what happens if you turn it around and like actually physically look at the back of it. And then I found myself, stripping the paint away and then being revealed that on the back of the mirror, there's actually another mirror, but it's a different color. So the mirror, in a way, um, I've been playfully calling them self-portraits, but in the sense of that not because they are pictures of me, um, but that there's an idea that there's a kind of there's an idea of the self as being a constellation, like we are we're a stratum of experiences and people, and one of the most fundamental and foundational relationships is with your mother and your parents and your siblings. Um, but those things are shifting dramatically, breaking into something new, you know. Uh, so the mirrors, they reflect whoever is standing in front of it, but you can't really see yourself. It doesn't absorb you, sort of, uh, you know, it just refracts you somehow. And, for the students who may have a hard time um, with understanding abstraction, um, I hope that my story with abstraction um, gives them a gateway or a doorway to enter into this kind of work. Um, so they can see it as a kind of a space of freedom for themselves. Uh, so they don't think that just making pictures of things is the exclusive operation of art, but that there's a whole other world, domain of expression that is available to them, if they just listen to their own heart.